You'd be surprised how fast some things lose their value. The moment you buy them, boom, their value starts dropping. Blinds, a flashy new car, even that high-end gadget you swore you'd use every day, they all have one thing in common. They tank in value the second they leave the store. And it's more common than you think. Some of the most expensive items just don't hold their worth. But is it the same for Tudor watches? As a watch enthusiast, my preference is set on high-end timepieces that scream luxury and can be potential investments. But the truth is that after a certain period, some of these wristwatches start losing their value. Or it might take an exceedingly long time for me to gain profits on my watches as an investor. When it comes to determining whether a watch would retain or lose its value, everything boils down to the rate of supply and demand of that particular model watch. Brands like Rolex and Patek Philippe would rarely lose their value because of the high market demand. However, the same cannot be said for Tudor watches in all cases, as its value retention varies for different models. If you're interested to know why, stick around as we discuss that in this video. About Tudor watches. The Tudor brand is popularly known for its luxurious feel and is loved by watch enthusiasts around the world. The watches are known to feature top functionality, excellent craftsmanship, and great quality. I wouldn't expect anything less since Tudor was created by the best-known luxury watchmaker and father of Rolex, Hans Wilsdorf. In 1926, a Swiss watchmaker known as Veuve de Philippe Hutter came up with the name the Tudor. That same year, Hans Wilsdorf purchased the exclusive rights to the name, and it allowed him to develop the brand from that point. The first set of Tudor-signed watches was released in 1932 and was sent to the Australian market. They featured rectangular-shaped faces, and some also had the Rolex name on the dial alongside the Tudor signature. After World War II, Hans created Tudor's manufacturing company called Montres de Tudor S.A. in 1946. Thereafter, Tudor became a sister company to Rolex and has always benefited from its relationship with Rolex. Hans decided to create a luxurious but equally affordable wristwatch for people in the military and professional drivers. So, between the early 1960s to 1980s, the watchmaker sold Tudor watches to military agencies, including the French Marine Nationale and the U.S. Navy, who began issuing Tudor watches like the Submariners to their divers. These timepieces include the brand's first ever Rolex and Fluid Oyster collection, which features a waterproof oyster case. Over time, Tudor introduced other features like the Big Crown and snowflake hands into the Submariner watch line. Various watch enthusiasts are in awe of Tudor watches due to their quality and luxurious delivery. On top of this, the timepieces are also affordable. A Rolex, on the other hand, can feature intricate designs and bear lots of unique characteristics. No doubt, but be prepared to pay a large amount of extra money for it. This is one of the main reasons why watch collectors would buy a Tudor timepiece. They would be getting the same Rolex effect at an economical price. This, of course, has made owning an opulent watch much easier. If you want to purchase one, you could own a Black Bay 54 that retails for around $3,850 on the market. This water-resistant and modern iteration of the Tudor Submariner boasts a quality stainless steel body, a polished satin accent, and a light feel to it, alongside many more features. So what makes luxury watches hold their value? When I consider purchasing a luxury watch, I'd probably choose the one that grabs my attention first, right? But as a second thought, I would also factor in whether the timepiece would be a source of investment for me at a later stage. In the end, it'll be a win-win, right? But the reality is, not all watches retain their value after a long period, and that can be disappointing. However, some still do. And if I purchase them, I'll gain either the same value or a slightly higher profit. It's a given that some watches hold their value better than others due to varying quality, prices, and supply and demand factors. Although no one can accurately predict the future prices of things, there are a few things to consider when buying a luxury watch that might hold their estimated value for years to come. First, brand heritage. If a watch's worth is mostly determined by how popular or trendy it is, you should think carefully about your decision. Brands like this include Rolex, which is no doubt the king of all timepieces. Now, the fact that Rolex has built a name for itself in the market is mainly what helps the brand retain their high sales rate. Similarly, watch brands like Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet are popular known brands that also retain most, if not all, of their original market price. These two brands are the go-to watch investments for most people. Other older brands created over 100 years ago like Jaeger-LeCoultre, Omega, and IWC, among many others, have all built trust with customers. That's the reason many people wouldn't think twice before buying a wristwatch that was created by these brands. Essentially, a brand's heritage determines the possibility of a watch's value retainment. So the longer a brand has existed, the higher the possibility that the value of its timepieces will not diminish. Next, iconic watch designs. In my opinion, a classy watch is mostly determined by how intricate and iconic its designs are. For various watch enthusiasts, unique designs, artistry, and out-of-the-world skillfulness featured on the timepiece are among the things that determine the value of such a piece. Watches that are unique in their designs and very rare are known to hold their value retention well enough. In fact, they can even increase in value over the years. These are often watches with unusual dial colors that aren't typically offered by the brand, or designs that are exclusive to a specific model. A Vianney Halter Deep Space Tourbillon is a perfect example of a timepiece with an uncommon but beautiful design that will forever be valuable. Next, materials. Another thing to consider is the material a watch is made of. A watch that's created from quality materials or worthy precious metals like pure gold or platinum will be valuable in the watch industry as well as outside the industry. Also, a timepiece made out of materials that are trending at the time it's about to be sold will be deemed valuable. Lastly, availability. When I hear the words limited edition, the watch that comes to mind is the Vacheron Constantin Chronometer Royal Timepiece. This watch is notorious for being one of the least common, perhaps even the most uncommon watch the world has ever known. Due to its rarity, such watches will never diminish in value. The fact is, there are quite a few watches that are so rare that no one knows how many of them were produced. In this case, the Vacheron has only been seen once during an auction and is a highly limited edition. Another is the Cartier Crash watch, of which only 4 pieces in total have been manufactured. Its unique design, which features a look similar to a cloth worn by historic desert travelers, makes it stand out. Watches like these are definitely going to always increase in value and will never diminish. So, do Tudor watches hold their value? Generally, Tudor watches are not known to have very high value retention. This is because they're not very pricey. However, some Tudor models have proven to be valuable even after purchase. An example is the Heritage Black Bay line. This piece is one of Tudor's most sought-after models, and it has been doing pretty great in regards to value retention. The collection has seen various models over the years, which have all been recognized as highly valuable. Models under the Heritage Black Bay line, including the Black Bay 58, the Standard Black Bay, and the Black Bay GMT watches are notable pieces that have been a success when it comes to being valuable after a while. The demand for the Black Bay 58, which costs around $3,700, is very high. This is most likely due to its features that entail a vintage-inspired dive watch design, great proportions, and excellent specifications. As a timepiece that's highly requested, its value will at least not decrease as time passes. It's the same with the GMT, which has also proven that over time, it still holds value. Most times, Tudor watches have been known to decrease in value by 50% and sometimes 60% immediately after they've been bought. The models I described above will retain their value, but those are just a few of the number of watches the brand has produced. It is, however, important to note that compared to other Tudor models, no watch has retained its value over time quite like the Pelagos. This model is also popular among watch enthusiasts for its classy appearance, the quality of materials used in its construction, and its durability. It ticks more boxes than most Tudor models when it comes to the qualities a watch must have to hold its value. Its attractive features speak for themselves and has led to it being recognized as the best diver's watch that the brand offers. Due to this, its status on the market will also increase. This gives the Pelagos an edge over other Tudor models in being eligible for potential investments. Compared to other Tudor models, the Tudor Pelagos has been recognized as a watch model that still holds its value after purchase. Do Tudor watches appreciate in value? The fact that a Black Bay 58 holds value after some time does not mean it's automatically a great investment. It's just like buying an expensive car. The moment you drive out of a dealership with a brand new ride, its value will drop. While this may not be the case with all luxury watches, as some of them appreciate in value over time, not all Tudor watches fit into this description. So which Tudor watches hold value? If you're worried about a Tudor watch holding its value over time, then you'll want to look into several specific models. A lot of what makes their value stand the test of time is the mechanical quality and brand reputation. The ties to Rolex definitely help here. A few Tudor watches that are known to hold their value include several Black Bay models, such as the 58N Chrono, for example. The Pelagos is another watch that holds its value. Their titanium build and impressive water resistance make them quite valuable in the long run. You'll also want to consider limited edition or even discontinued models. The Heritage Chrono and Black Bay Bronze are what come to mind here. Tudor has plenty of watches that hold their value. While some of this comes down to the watch quality itself, how you take care of your timepiece matters just as much. The brand's steady market growth and in-house movement craftsmanship will always play a part in the long-term value. For the most part, you don't have to worry about rapid depreciation with Tudor watches. So, what about vintage Tudor watches? The demand for vintage Tudor watches has increased over time, which is not surprising. This is because their value has doubled, and they have also proven to be highly durable. Some of these vintage Tudor models that are now in high demand include the oldest chronograph models, the Tudor Submariner references, the Tiger model, the Oyster Prince series, and the Big Block, among many others. Many watch collectors have aimed to grab these vintage pieces whenever they find them because they're becoming harder to find, especially in good shape. What baffles me the most is how a manually wound watch can hold its value, sometimes selling for nearly twice its original price. Then I remember that these vintage timepieces were widely used by military personnel because of their waterproof features. In fact, the strap design was even recommended and supplied by the military back when Hans Wilsdorf first began producing Tudor watches. This is the reason a Tudor Submariner Marine Nationale has notably doubled in value and is one of the most purchased Tudor vintage watches ever. The Marine Nationale, which has the initials MN on the back of its case, sells for around $22,000. Another expensive vintage Tudor timepiece can also be the Oyster Prince series, especially the Oyster Date. This model was among the first ever Tudor watches to be released and is quite similar to the Datejust watch by Rolex. When I think of a simple yet elegant timepiece, the Oyster Date comes to mind because of its classic design and historical beauty. Tudor vintage pieces are the real definition of the phrase old but gold. So in conclusion, while it's safe to say that Tudor watches can be classified as classic, exceptional, even luxurious timepieces, the sad truth is that some of its products just might not retain their value for a long time. I would purchase a Tudor watch for its affluent look, for the Rolex effect, and for its other amazing features. But I would not expect the value appreciation over the years. Overall, Tudor watches are great luxury-wise, but they may not be the best option for an investment. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button for more content like this.
Thanks for joining us. If you're in the market to buy a watch, Exquisite Timepieces is an authorized dealer for more than 60 luxury watch brands, including Omega, Seiko, Grand Seiko, Hublot, Oris, Longines, along with the rest of the great high-end watch brands. Visit our website at exquisitettimepieces.com, call us at 239-227-2932, or come in and shop our store location in Naples, Florida.